Chapter 1 of Snarleyyow. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Snarleyyow by Frederick Marryat. Chapter 1. Introduction of Diverse Parties and a Red Herring. It was in the month of January, 1699, that a one-masted vessel, with black sides, was running along the coast near Beachy Head, at the rate of about 5 miles per hour. The wind was from the northward, and blew keenly. The vessel was under easy sail, and the water was smooth. It was now broad daylight, and the sun rose clear of clouds and vapour, but he threw out light without heat. The upper parts of the spars, the hammock rails, and the small iron guns which were mounted on the vessel's decks were covered with a white frost. The man at the helm stood muffled up in a thick pea-jacket and mittens, which made his hands appear as large as his feet. His nose was a pug of an intense bluish red, one tint arising from the present cold, and the other from the preventive checks which he had been so long accustomed to take to drive out such an unpleasant intruder. His grizzled hair waved its locks gently to the wind, and his face was distorted with an immoderate quid of tobacco, which protruded his right cheek. This personage was second officer and steersman on board of the vessel, and his name was Obadiah Coble. He had been baptized Obadiah about 60 years before, that is to say, if he had been baptized at all. He stood so motionless at the helm that you might have imagined him to have been frozen there as he stood, were it not that his eyes occasionally wandered from the compass on the binnacle to the bows of the vessel, and that the breath from his mouth, when it was thrown out into the clear frosty air, formed a smoke like to that from the spout of a half-boiling tea-kettle. The crew belonging to the cutter, for she was a vessel in the service of His Majesty King William III, at this time employed in protecting His Majesty's revenue against the importation of Alamodes and lute strings, were all down below at their breakfasts, with the exception of the steersman and lieutenant commandant, who now walked the quarter-deck, if so small an extent of plank could be dignified with such a name. He was a Mr. Cornelius Vanslyperken, a tall meagre-looking personage, with very narrow shoulders and very small head. Perfectly straight up and down, protruding in no part, he reminded you of some tall parish pump, with a great knob at its top. His face was gaunt, cheeks hollow, nose and chin showing an affection for each other, and evidently lamenting the gulf between them, which prevented their meeting. Both appeared to have fretted themselves to the utmost degree of tenuity from disappointment in love. As for the nose, it had a pearly round tear hanging at its tip, as if it wept. The dress of Mr. Vanslyperken was hidden in a greatcoat, which was very long, and buttoned straight down. This greatcoat had 2 pockets on each side, into which its owner's hands were deeply inserted, and so close did his arms lie to his sides, that they appeared nothing more than as would battens nailed to a topsail yard. The only deviation from the perpendicular was the insertion of a speaking trumpet under his left arm, at right angles with his body. It had evidently seen much service, was battered, and the black japan worn off in most parts of it. As we said before, Mr. Vanslyperken walked his quarter-deck. He was in a brown study, yet looked blue. 6 strides brought him to the taffrail of the vessel, 6 more to the bows, such was the length of his tether, and he turned and turned again. But there was another personage on the deck, a personage of no small importance, as he was all in all to Mr. Vanslyperken, and Mr. Vanslyperken was all in all to him. Moreover, we may say that he is the hero of the tale. This was one of the ugliest
Sample complete. Ready to continue?